Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
On alert, with authorities fearing the potential of violence is rising, and not only at the inauguration in the nation's capital, but in all 50 states.
There's a major security threat, and we are working to mitigate those threats.
Along with D.C., of most concern, state houses in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. The FBI also warning that right-wing radicals see the January 6th Capitol assault as a success, and now different groups are coordinating. ABC News has learned that the FBI is tracking two men who were part of last week's Capitol mob, who are allegedly planning to come back for another attack on the nation's capital on Inauguration Day. One suspect from North Carolina was allegedly observed loading ammunition boxes and was in possession of semi-automatic rifles, explosives, a gas mask, and bulletproof equipment. 20,000 National Guardsmen will be on duty for the inauguration, and security is amped up at D.C.'s airports and hotels. Airbnb canceling reservations in D.C. for Inauguration Week.
Oh, no.
We have asked Americans not to come to the Washington, D.C. event.
And now new details about just how serious law enforcement officials say the ongoing threats are. Cleveland Meredith, who was arrested by authorities in D.C. last week, allegedly sent text messages threatening to execute House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and D.C. Mayor Bowser. According to prosecutors, Meredith was found with multiple firearms and more than 2,500 rounds of ammunition.
The FBI is under incredible pressure, monitoring scores of suspects as we head down the stretch to the inauguration. I did a review this morning, and the time just before the election until now, there have been 18 suspects arrested and charged for allegedly plotting to kill or kidnap Democratic leaders and their supporters.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So, this is like a third world country, do you know? I mean, if we were a foreign nation, the State Department would issue a warning telling us not to travel here. Except we live here. It's like a zombie movie. Except in this movie, the zombies carry United States flags, hockey sticks, and Confederate flags. Like the zombie movie takes place in a Confederate cemetery or some such weird thing. I mean, we look like an armed fortress to the whole world is watching this. Now, the thing that freaks me out is who's in charge. No one knows the answer to that. There's no one left at the White House. There are many, many articles about how Trump is isolated, meaning he's alone in the West Wing. He's angry. He's going to screw Rudy Giuliani. No, not physically. I'm sorry for that reference. I didn't want to put that in your permanent Rolodex. No, he has told his aides or aide, whoever's left, not to pay Rudy Giuliani for his legal services. He's going to stiff Rudy. Again, I apologize for the visual. So, I mean, Rudy was already holding press conferences at Four Seasons Landscaping in the parking lot. How many cost-cutting measures can one man stand? How is he going to buy waterproof mascara? I mean, this is unbelievable. So you remember the report was that Rudy wanted $20,000 a day. Rudy wanted $20,000 a day to act as Trump's lawyer. He wasn't that good of an actor. He didn't even convince me that he was a real, actual lawyer. Did he convince you? No. So $20,000 was much too much to pay Rudy. I think we all agreed. But at this point, I'd be willing to pay anybody that would defend Donald Trump $20,000 a day because they're just going to end up disbarred. So whatever they make off of being Trump's lawyer is going to be their nut for the rest of their lives. So unbelievable. So typical Trump, okay, the snake. but you knew I was a snake, tender woman, let me in. Now, I never understood the choice of song. You know that song, The Snake? That is an old R&B blues soul song from the northern part of the R&B blues soul crowd. But anyway, he is a snake, and he told you he was a snake, and you let him in, and now he's biting you, and now you die. You know, I mean, he refuses to pay Rudy the money he owes him, which is what is standard practice for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has stiffed so many law firms that when he was looking to get representation, meaningful representation, decent representation, like, you know, the election guys, you know, the big ones, the Ginsburgs, the David Boies ones, right? The ones that actually know what they're doing inside election law. Nobody would step up to the plate. Nobody was willing to represent Donald Trump because A, Donald Trump was full of crap and lying, and B, they understood that they would be disbarred for anything Donald Trump was asking them to do. But in what other way is Donald Trump stiffing Rudy Giuliani not typical of every other business arrangement Donald Trump ever entered into, including his supporters? You know, last night looked like a hostage video. You saw it, right? You saw it. Did you see it? Did you? No, Brett didn't see it. Okay, so Trump made this video last night saying he's not about violence. He was never about violence. He doesn't countenance violence. It's got to stop the violence. Oh, and by the way, I want my Twitter back. Okay, that was pretty much the gist of it. It looked like a hostage video / plea bargain agreement. It was so teleprompter stressed. It was so under duress, and he didn't apologize. He didn't apologize. And he didn't take any responsibility. He's just trying to avoid criminal indictment. And I don't mean the trial in the Senate, which, by the way, will happen. Now, I've given it a lot of thought and researched it about 8 ways to Sunday. I did hear from several constitutional scholars on this subject of all different stripes. But the conclusion I have come up with is, if there was no ability to disqualify a person who held public office from ever running or holding public office again because of a crime like treason or sedition, okay, then they would wait until the last, week or two of their public life to do the sedition or the treason, right? So it makes no sense that you can't try somebody after they're gone for stuff they did while they were here. Also, he was indicted yesterday. That's what an impeachment is. He was indicted yesterday, and so there has to be a trial once there's an indictment. So for all those reasons, I say yes, you can have a trial in the Senate after he's gone. Okay, but this video yesterday, it was all so that they could play it at the trial and say, but see, he never says sorry, but see, he's nonviolent. Look, we all know that Trump incites violence and has always.
I certainly don't incite violence.
Yes, you do.
Knock the crap out of him. Like to punch him in the face.
I don't condone violence, and I don't talk about violence.
I would have done well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that. I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will.
Oh. Maybe he should have been roughed up because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing.
If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Try not to hurt him. If you do, I'll defend you in court. Don't worry about it. In the good old days, this doesn't happen because they used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, they would not do it again so easily. We've become weak. And you know what? The audience swung back. And I thought it was very, very appropriate. The audience hit back. And that's what we need a little bit more of now. Part of the problem and part of the reason it takes so long is nobody wants to hurt each other anymore, right?
Oh, my God. Come on. So he makes this hostage video, this plea bargain video, which is very typical of him, okay? You start a fire, you throw gas on the fire, you stand back and enjoy the fire as the arsonist that you are. Then you go get a bucket of water and you say, see, I couldn't have started the fire. I threw water on the fire after I started the fire and threw gas on the fire. Oh, please. Ridiculous. Of course there's going to be a trial. In the Senate, yes. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.